All right, here. Hello, hello. Looks like we got a couple people hanging out. Um, Thanks for sticking with me tonight, guys. I know it's a little bit later than planned, and I do apologize for that. Sometimes life happens, and that's okay. And it looks like video looks okay. Nuclear code's safe. Nuclear codes are safe, and it's been a while. It has been, probably I think it's been about a month since I've done a live stream, and that is largely because of work. I am in the military. That's my job, and sometimes that keeps me busy enough that there's family time that comes first, and work and family are priorities over talking to you guys. So sorry to kick you guys to the curb for a little bit. That's how things go. But life is life. That's right, S. Life is life. So I haven't seen you guys in a while. I did post a video just the other day. If you guys are interested in watching that, I did tear down one of the stands that I had in the old fish closet and reconfigured it more or less to fit in the new fish room. And I'll post the link for the chat in there if you guys want to check that out. It's a fairly short video, a little bit of work, fairly short video. But yeah, feel free to check it out. It's a good little look. Kind of gives you an idea of how I build most of my racks and stands and whatnot, and how I was able to reuse all the materials and not have to fork over a ton of change right now during these crazy lumber prices to get things rolling again. So real quick, Myrtle, I can always count on you to be here first, man. Appreciate you being here. I know I asked you in Rico's stream earlier how the plants are doing. You said they're doing well. If you get a chance, just send me some pictures of your tank. And if you send them during the stream, we can post them up on the stream and we'll take a look at it. S, what's up, S? Thanks for joining us. Operation ATF has finally commenced. We're 24 minutes late. 24 minutes in about a month, but that's okay. That's all right. Patrick, I'm not sure if you're still with us. I think so. I know it's probably getting close to your bedtime, but thanks for stopping by. Crowntail Half Moon, always a pleasure to have you around. John Oliver is in the house. If you're looking for guppies, John Oliver does have a band group that he sells a lot of his guppies on. Feel free to check that out. It's definitely some high quality stuff. If you've taken a look in my fish room at all, you'll see that I do currently have his half black white tuxedos, and they are a great strain. I love them. I've got them in a forward breeder with some cherry shrimp doing their thing, and soon I'll have some of those to share. We already addressed this situation right here. Crown Tail said he asked a few questions on YouTube today. Needs clarification on your quarantine method and meds. If you can check it, please. So that's geared towards John from John Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics, and I believe he's done several unboxing videos, and he posts a lot of stuff on his YouTube channel. So don't be afraid to check that out, and I'll post a link for John in the chat over here. John Oliver Guppies and Aquatics. Boom. Right here. Drop it in the chat. There you go. So there's 9 watching, and I get it. It's the summer, and that's part of, why I was getting on late. During the summer, priorities change, and YouTube's just a hobby for me on the side, on top of all my other hobbies. I was lately I've been busy working on my Jeeps. I'm a Jeep guy, so repping the old Black Hills Jeep Club there. So I was working on my Jeeps. After that, made dinner. So fired up the smoker, put some burgers on the grill, had dinner with the family outside on the patio, and then the kid and I played hockey for a little bit before the wife and I tried to get him to go to sleep, and that took a little bit longer than expected. Hence, being late here. But we're here, and we'll see if we can drag a few more people in. If you haven't given the video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it if you did. Go ahead and share it out to your friends, Facebook groups, etc. Do the thing, and we'll see if we can get a few more people in here before we really kind of get into things a little bit. And we're going to be, the goal of this stream is always to be serious and mostly informative, though. So tonight we're going to be a little more serious before we get to the informative, fun fish talk stuff. And if anybody's interested, we'll see if we can drag a few more folks in here and see if somebody wants to chat with me. Otherwise, I'll ramble and I'll field some questions out of the chat here. Thanks, Groundtail. It's a pleasure. Always happy to help you out there, John. And Crowntail Half Moon definitely appreciates the help as well. And that's one of the things about this hobby. This hobby is full of great people that are always willing to help out. So we'll give it a couple more minutes here, and then we'll get into things. Like I said, if you haven't checked out the video of the fish rack build downstairs, the fish room is finally actually more or less, we'll say, coming to fruition, I guess, if you will. And I didn't come froze. I just pee. What's up? I hate stupid people. Haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you. I've seen it in a few chats, but I haven't talked to you this way. I haven't been on the stream. And Dragon, I've got the stream pulled up in YouTube as well as my stream software, and I'm not frozen on my side, so maybe try refreshing, and we'll wait for you to get back. Oh, Crowntail asked if I use raw garlic with pellets to feed pig eaters. I don't use raw garlic. I know that's a trick that a lot of salty guys use. I personally don't use it at all. I'm not saying it does or doesn't work, but if I have picky eaters, I go straight to live foods. And live foods are, kind of where you make your money in the fish room. Like if you ever have anything that doesn't want to eat or you just want to do better, live foods are where it's at. Patrick still says he has no sound. I got sound. So I would say live foods a million times over. If you don't have access to live foods, Paul Peer is a great guy. He offers all sorts of different starter cultures where you can get vinegar eels, microworms, Walter worms, banana worms, grindle worms, etc., etc. Otherwise, you can hit up your local shop for some brine shrimp, or you can hatch your own baby brine shrimp. If you can't do that, frozen food. But I would say 10 out of 10 times, if you've got a picky eater, it's going to stick to live foods. I know if you watch a lot of the guys that import some of the wild caught type stuff, like Dan from Dan's Fish and Get Gills, he goes straight to the live foods. What's up, Binoxy? Hey, man. Anytime he has a fish that comes in that won't take flakes or pellets, he goes to live foods and he'll keep them on live foods until he's able to wean them off, if he is able. Some fish, for whatever reason, they're just not able to wean them off of live foods. Sometimes they can get them on frozen, but not quite prepared foods like your flakes, pellets, wafer sticks, etc. So yeah, you work around it, and that's okay. So Vin's in the house. What's up, Vin? Anthony from Anthony's Fishy Friends. I've missed you, man. I know you don't stream too often these days. Kind of the same boat I am. You got a lot going on for the summer, and that's fine. So I'm going to try to stick. I'm trying to find the time to get into the Tuesday scene. In case you guys haven't noticed as well, though, Tuesdays are the internet is a very vast space, but as far as YouTube time comes, it's a very small space for live streaming. You're always, I can't stream during the day because I got work and other things going on. So, I'm going to try to stick to 9 o'clock on Tuesday nights. But as the days get longer, as we get deeper and deeper into summer, there's more stuff going on. We may end up, slipping to like a 9:30 at 10 o'clock. We may look at a different night. Tuesdays are busy. And, like if you look at our chat right now, we got 13. We usually have, I'm a small channel, but we usually have, kind of the 25 to 30 viewers on the live streams. And that's a Sunday or a summer thing. That's nothing against any of you guys. That's nothing against anybody else. But we usually have that 25 to 30. And I think that's a good size group. We're able to have good conversations and field good questions from that group. Looking at some of the other Tuesday night folks, looks like everybody's pretty much seeing half as many as they usually do, which is unfortunate. But like I said, that's okay. That's life. That's not a big deal. It's not a problem. And whoever has the time just to stream and join us, or when I have the time to join somebody else, whether it's Rico Stan or Anthony, or if Priscilla starts streaming a little bit more, or Bentley or Dr. Black, who's on right now, I'll definitely jump in there any chance I can get, and share a little bit of love. So anyway, let's talk about, the title of this stream is accountability. And, it's very easy to become a YouTube personality, if you will, or to stream on YouTube. It's always been that way. It hasn't always, it's not easy to get a following, really. Like if you look at my channel, I've been, grinding pretty good since I started back in January, and I've got this little channel here has 415 subscribers, and that means a lot to me. 417 right now. That means a lot. That's great. That there's 417 people that feel that I am worth following regularly, and that's amazing. But it's it's fairly small, and definitely not in the realm of the. It's not like the Danikins where you have 2,000 subscribers, or the Alexes where you had tons and tons of subscribers, or the bigger channels. And that's not my goal, is to be one of the bigger channels. That's not my goal at all. The reason that I actually started this channel was to correct some of the misinformation that's spread on YouTube. And I've tried to make that point clear. And anytime that I share information, I try to support it if I can with where I've read it or where I've seen it, or provide you guys with articles and where you can read it for yourself and take what you will out of it. Or if it's my opinion, I'll let you know, hey, this is my experience, this is what I think, etc. But when you take the initiative to put yourself in a spotlight like YouTube, and you have people that I would say if somebody's watching you, it's because they look up to you for some reason. Whether you have, like me, it's 415 people that they watch me because they look up to me, or feel that there is some reason or some worth in taking the time out of their day to listen to me ramble. Or if you're a larger channel, you have 10,000, 15,000, 50,000 people that either watch your live streams or just, they subscribe to you, they watch your videos. You are putting yourself in a spot of responsibility, especially I would say with our hobby and the way our hobby works. When you step up onto YouTube and make yourself public, and you start trying to share information or advice, you have a responsibility to make it very clear that what you're sharing is either information, accurate information, your personal opinion, or your experience. And as such, you have a responsibility to share correct information. And I feel that people that share incorrect information or are unable to support it, or talk down on other people for sharing their opinions or whatever they may be, they need to be held accountable. There needs to be a sense of accountability. The Fish family is, we got a large group of people that both post content as far as create videos, as well as share information in the chats, the live streams, comments, etc. And we all need to hold each other accountable to a higher standard for the betterment of the hobby. If we allow any users, whether it's a 1,000 subscriber channel or a 1 million subscriber channel, if we allow them to post poor advice or inaccurate information or straight up misinformation, if we do not hold them accountable for that, we are doing a disservice to each other, and we are doing a disservice to the hobby. The hobby can only grow when people are open to constructive criticism. If I share something that's incorrect or I say something wrong, I would hope that somebody would be willing to correct me and point me in the right direction as to where that information is. And I would hope that me as a person, as a hobbyist, would be open to that criticism so that I can learn and so that everybody can learn. And there are, this isn't a stream or a short topic dedicated to bash anybody. But I do think that as hobbyists, we need to hold each other accountable for sharing proper information. If you are going to host a live stream or post a video about breeding live bears or growing plants, you had better know what you're talking about and don't get up there and say, well, I think, or well, this, and share misinformation. That's a disservice to the hobby. If you want to live stream and the topic is about planted tanks, and you have questions that you hope somebody in the chat can answer, or you issue, you're a live stream and you issue a challenge or ask a question like, hey, Priscilla, I want you to make a video about Neocaridina shrimp tank parameters. I have questions about it. These are my questions. I challenge you to make a video about it. And then Priscilla can, she's well versed in Neocaridina shrimp. She can make a video and give you that information you're looking for. However, I think it's irresponsible, and I'm not dogging on anybody in particular. I think it's irresponsible for people to try to live stream for the sake of getting views or whatever and share crappy information. And then when they're corrected, if you're in your own live stream or somebody else's live stream, if you get corrected to get defensive and butthurt about it, I think we need to, if you're wrong, you need to be held accountable for being wrong, and you need to be open to that criticism. Be like, okay, I was wrong. My bad. You know what? I'm going to learn from it. Show me where this information lies. And I will gladly go look at that and do some learning myself and better myself so that I can better the hobby. Like I said, by spreading poor information, misinformation, crappy advice, you're not doing any favors to anybody. And if you get called out for doing so, which you will, there's people that aren't afraid to do it, myself included. I'm not afraid to call people out. You better be ready to either back it up or be willing to change your tune. And that's right. So Priscilla, I am challenging you. This is a challenge to Swiss Aquatics to make a video about Neocaridina water parameters. Good ones, bad ones, ranges, etc. Temperatures, hardness, GH, KH, pH doesn't matter. Does not matter. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what you can put together. So that's my rant for tonight. It's short. It is what it is. There's not a lot of back and forth. If somebody wants to comment on it in the chat, do you agree? Do you disagree? Feel free. If you want to come up on the panel and we'll talk about it, I'll gladly share the link, and you can share your opinion and let me know how you feel about it. So for anybody interested, there you go. We'll see if you guys want to talk about it. We can. If you want to move on to fish stuff, we can do that too. I did see a couple questions in here though. So while people kind of let that sink in or let it go in one ear out the other, maybe you don't care. That's just my 2 cents. Crowntail asked, can I get phytoplankton without a culture but using saltwater at appropriate salinity with aquarium ferts or soil and left in sunlight? Yes. I mean, if you have an established tank or have access to an established tank, 90% of the time, if you take water out of that tank and place it in ideal conditions to culture phytoplankton, yes. However, there are starter cultures out there for different planktons or pods, etc., rotifers that you can get your hands on pretty easily. So I would personally suggest getting a quality culture to start your own culture with, and let that run. Somebody else asked a question. Which type of polycarbonate sheets should I use for lids? So I suggest double-walled polycarbonate. I'll see if I can just get you a link here. Something like this works just fine. You can get it at Lowe's, Menards, etc. You should be able to see that link, IHSP. It works out by the time you cut it down, 4 by 8 feet, depending on what size tank, $50. $50 is a little more than it usually is. But that works just fine. It doesn't really, most lights these days you're running LEDs. If you're running a lot, if you're getting a sheet of that because you have a lot of tanks you want to make lids for, you're probably running LEDs and you're not worried about a ton of heat. So something like that is just fine. These guys, greenhouse panels. Yep, that's just, like I said, it's kind of just a double walled polycarbonate. Works just fine. And pretty much everybody running a decent sized fish room, they're either just having glass cut, like 1/8 inch, 3/16 inch glass getting cut, or they're using like a greenhouse panel, like a double walled polycarbonate. There's lots of videos out there. I think Tom from TM Aquatics talks about it in one of his videos. Jason from Jatter Aquatics talks about it in one of his. I'm sure Primetime probably has a video out there. There's tons of them out there. And as I make tanks and get stuff set up downstairs, I'll go ahead and I'll make a video about it just so I can at least have, if you come to my channel, you can have that information all in one spot. Nothing against the other guys, and their videos are great. But sometimes it's easier to just be able to come to one channel. All the stuff's there. So I will make a video about that when I get there, if you're interested. So if you happen to see, let me see if I can find it. So as you guys know, or maybe don't know, our good friend Priscilla from Swiss Aquatics works at a local shop over in, see if this is the right one. We may or may not win. Colorado. But she happened to get bit by an eel today, and it's pretty small, but it's I'd say it did a decent little number on her. I don't know if she there's a picture of the eel. Yep, I think it's something like a 2-foot little yellow moray. There it is. I'd say that's probably 18 inches, 2 feet, but got it pretty good. And that's the downside to having a predator tank, like a saltwater eel tank like that. For a little while, I had a snowflake eel, which is a pretty neat little guy, but he never got big enough to be a danger. The eels have really good personalities. They're really fun, really personable, and a lot of fun to feed. But as you can see, not always finger safe. What else we got? Patty, thanks for the link. Always happy to help, Patty. Light penetrates polycarbonate better than glass. Patrick's all over it. Patrick knows what's up. Deborah's here. Deborah, how you doing tonight, Deborah? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Haven't seen you guys in a while, and tonight may be fairly short. But thanks. We'll see what's going on. Maybe things will pick up. Tom from Skipper's Aquariums is in the house. What's up there, Tom? I jumped up. I didn't get on the stream. Happened to be in the stream the other day when Tom was on, and poked my nugget in there. Talked to him for a little bit. Always a pleasure. I think it's Tom and Bobby, and who else was on your stream the other night, Tom? Tom and Bobby, and it might have been Rockford, I think. Not positive. Hung out in there for a little bit. Hung out in, I don't know if Rico's still here. He stopped by earlier. hung out in Rico's stream a little bit earlier today. Just had some downtime here and there between working on vehicles and playing with kiddo. But Rico Stan actually let me see if I can find it. Rico posts so many freaking videos. He posts a lot. And that's not bad. That's good. I don't know if I can find it. A month ago. I don't think it was that much longer than a month ago. Anyway, at some point in time, Rico Stan, if you follow his stuff, he issued a challenge to get me to 500 subscribers by the end of the month, and he said if we make it happen, now I'm at 417, so we got quite a ways to go. But he said if we make 500 happen by the end of May, so 6 more days, he will sing karaoke. He didn't necessarily claim that it'd be on a live stream. I think it might just be a video, but he'd sing for us. So if we can make that happen, I'd be impressed. We got a long way to go. That's what 85-ish subs. That'd be an impressive feat. It's over 10% of my current subscribers. So we can go 10% in 6 days. That would be insane. Probably not going to happen. Patrick dropping some science. UVA, UVB, and A goes through polycarbonate but not glass. UVC probably does too. Yeah, so if you got herps, obviously it's coming to play probably a little bit more than fish, but definitely a factor with fish as well. Yeah, that's it. The double walled, twin walled, whatever you want to call it, polycarbonate, just like that, just like we talked about, should work quite well for you. Xanadu, oh, missed him. Boom. What's up, Xanadu? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. I've seen you in maybe 1 or 2 streams. Like I said, I haven't been in a ton of streams lately, but I have seen you in 1 or 2. And it's always a pleasure. I have to go over here to do this. For anyone interested, if you guys want to come and chat, it's gonna be pretty chill tonight. Want to come up, see you guys, see how everybody was doing, kind of share my 2 cents as to how YouTubers need to take a little more responsibility in what they share within our hobby. Obviously there's channels dedicated simply to entertainment, and there's channels dedicated, to the 3 to 5 year old age group. But most of the big channels in our hobby are dedicated to our hobby, and that is, generally speaking, to be, obviously you don't watch people if they're not entertaining at all, but to be informational. And we need to hold people to a little bit higher standard as far as the information that they share. 10-pack sheets for $2 savings per sheet. Hey, when you're going big, every couple bucks makes a difference, man. If you can save $2 a sheet, hey, that's an extra $2 you can put towards food or whatever. Patrick, you're killing me, man. So if I think Rico's right at 450. I told him that if we both hit 500, that I'd do a duet with him. Now I can't sing with crab. Obviously, you guys hear my voice, hear where we are now. So imagine me trying to sing. It's not pretty, but it would be thoroughly entertaining. Maybe Rico's got a little bit better karaoke voice than I do, but we'll see how things go. We got a long way to go. A 2.2 pound bucket of flakes. That's a lot of flakes. I personally, flakes are my go-to just to walk through the room and be able to hit all the tanks quick. I try to feed a lot of live foods. It's as you guys can see, the fish room's just kind of starting to get going a little bit more, so I don't have cultures running. I gotta hit up some buddies or Paul P or somebody for some live foods. If you ever want live foods, if you want to start feeding live foods and you don't know where to start, don't know where to get your starter cultures, find a killifish guy for whatever reason. And I don't know if we necessarily have many like hardcore killie guys in here right now, all 17 of you. But if you find a killifish guy, they will have live foods guaranteed. They always do. It's just that's their thing. There's a killifish guy that they got me started feeding live foods, and they're always willing to give out cultures. Hey, there's this guy.
Hello.
Welcome, Skipper's Aquariums. It's Thomas Skipper.
Been a long time, Mike.
It's been a little while. How you been, man?
Good.
Yeah, staying busy.
Oh yeah. Too busy for YouTube there for a minute.
Join the club. This is, like I said, I think I'll have to check my stuff. This is the first live stream I've done in, I bet, a month. May 25th. The last one was April 20th, so over a month.
Really?
Wow. So I mean, obviously, like I enjoy hanging out with you guys, and I miss hanging out with you. But it is summertime.
Yeah.
So between work and summertime, I may bump the live streams back later in the day. Otherwise, they might just go like an every other week type of thing for a little while. Simply because I'm in Iowa, right? So we have super cold winters that suck. So what do you do in the winter when it's nasty outside? You sit inside.
Yeah.
So you either watch YouTube or you talk on YouTube. So that's why.
Yeah.
So, but it's summertime now. So I mean, like I was outside. I busted an axle shaft rock crawling in one of my Jeeps. So I just got that changed out, got that thing put back together. And now this weekend I'm going to do ball joints in my other Jeep. So it's just that's what I'm going to do. I like to work on vehicles. I like to play with my kid. I like to do outside stuff. Kid's got baseball 2 nights a week.
Yeah.
I was late getting in here tonight because we were out in the back playing street hockey, and then got him to bed a little bit late. So
it's hard when it's really nice out.
Yeah.
Like today here in PA, it was beautiful tonight.
So there may be nights where I stream from a bonfire in the backyard. I don't know. We'll see.
I just had a fire because my daughter wanted s'mores. then I had a buddy over, and we were just hanging out. Just I was fixing. It's that time of year again. Small engines. I was working on mowers.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm gonna go inside. I'm not ready to go to bed yet. And I looked at my phone. I was like, what? He didn't tell me.
It's that time, man. So Craftsville asked, how do you recommend storing fish foods like flakes and pellets when you purchase them in bulk? So my pellets, I actually use like glass jars for my pellets. Like a canning jar works just fine, or something to get like baby food in. For flakes, Ziploc bags work just fine. I know some people keep them like in the freezer. I don't personally keep them frozen. The bags, it's a Ziploc bag. That's most of them. Like some of them you can vacuum seal them if you want. I know some places that you get like sticks and wafer from, they're vacuum sealed already, so they're good to go. There's no reason to freeze them. I think like keeping them in the fridge or the freezer, you're probably just asking for more moisture to get in them. Myself.
Yeah, I was going to say keep the, what he said about the jar, but then whenever you're not using, you can put your portions in per every couple weeks of feeding.
Yeah.
And just do that. Just vacuum seal it. You don't have to freeze it because once you suck all the air out, it's not going to get bad.
Yeah. Patty's full of crap.
No, she's not. She's been nice lately, and it's kind of scary.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Knocked down the co-op, but watch Amazon. So I know a lot of people are feeding extreme over the past 6 to 9 months or whatever. When people start doing videos about it, I think it's overpriced. A flake food's a flake food. I personally feed. Like I said, I've got 56 tanks. Not all running right now, of course, but I had a bunch of them running before. Bread, a ton of fish, a bunch of shrimp, freshwater, saltwater. I feed Ken's, flakes, and pellets, or your fish stuff. So that's what I feed. Pick your battles. Pick where you want to spend your money. If you have a ton of extra money, like go buy fancy flake food. But in the end, it's flake food.
They have the same ingredients.
Okay, so here we got a new face, and this is a guy that's local to me, but I haven't met him yet. Um,
What's up?
what's
That
up,
ain't no new
Caleb?
face.
This is the first time Caleb's ever been on my stream, man.
But he's no new face, so.
I was just sitting and I grabbed my phone and like, well, all right, let's join this sucker then.
I'm hitting it big time. Caleb's in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
You bet.
Pretty
How
good,
you
you
been,
know.
Caleb? Good.
I never officially met you before, but I've seen you on Facebook. If you don't mind asking, are you in South Dakota?
So I'm in Sioux City. I'm not far away from Aberdeen. I'm in Sioux City.
Sioux City. Because I knew you were somewhere around. I've seen you somewhere on Facebook. I can't remember where, but I remember seeing you somewhere.
The South Dakota fish groups or the Sioux Falls area group.
Yeah, I live in the middle. We live in the middle of no man's land.
Yeah, it's a long way. I think Aberdeen's probably 4 hours from me. But I haven't. I'm so far behind on videos and stuff. I haven't seen how your shop's coming.
Oh, pretty dang good.
But I followed it closely for a while
trying to grab my computer set up. Because I'm just on my phone right now. Because it's probably gonna be a lot worse once I got my computer up and running. Beside the point, the garage is pretty much up and running. I have the whole racking system. I started adding fish out there. I have my 300-gallon tank that's getting set up. I'm doing some plans with that wise.
Okay.
But the shop is like up right now. But a lot of new tanks are getting set up as of now. Hey, look, there's me.
Awesome. So if you guys, obviously Caleb's, as far as YouTube channels go, he's twice the size of me. But I posted a link to his channel in this video. If you haven't been following him, Caleb's doing a pretty sweet. He's building a shop, like an actual fish shop I think it's a 2-car garage, and he's doing a pretty slick job getting things set up, and he's detailed everything along the way. He's breaking down, the costs for exactly what he's using so that you guys can see it and how he's building stuff. So definitely a series worth watching.
For sure.
And are you starting to get fish putting those tanks out there?
Yeah, so I just posted a video earlier today of pretty much restocking halfway fish wise. Okay. Cause I just started slowly adding fish because I didn't want to shock everything. But I added a whole bunch of different mollies, swordtails, things like that, just to start getting things rolling a little bit more. Just to kind of get things going. I half cycled tanks. The tank's been running for probably a month now. I chucked in some mud guppies just to get some stuff mixed up in there. And then now.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun to watch that come together. I know you've been working on it for probably over a year now, if I remember right.
It's been 9 months. It's been getting close to the mark we're now.
Yeah. You finally feeling like you're actually about there, getting things put together? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Things are definitely moving. Things are really starting to get finalized. I'm starting to do a lot more things. While I'm here and I got almost 20 people watching or something, I need to prepare for Aquashella. If anybody here is going to Aquashella, Orlando, and I'm missing out, please let me know, because last time I went to Chicago, I missed out on the meeting Greg and all that stuff. I met Greg there and talked to him there, but everyone went to a shop, and I missed all that because I had no clue what was going on. So, if there's any plans that are going on in Orlando that I don't know, let me know right away, because I need to. I haven't even started planning, really. All I know is I bought the airplane tickets and hotel. That's about it.
No, that's what, the middle of June, but like the June 17th, 18th, 19th or something?
It's the 12th and 13th is the event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Side note, Xanadu said he's a Jeep guy. There's an old picture of my Jeep, but it's I don't know. We'll sidetrack for a second, guys. But Xanadu, it's a 97 TJ. I swapped in a 318, so I took the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder out, put in a 318 V8. It's a 9-inch rear end. It now has 35-inch tires, locker in the back, stuff like that. So that's my toy. But that's not fish related, so we'll move on. Ground Trait last, how do you feed the ones in the freezer? Do I need to thaw or just keep in the fridge? I'm feeding. They get soft and nutty. So like I said, I don't put my food in the freezer at all. So, so somebody that does put theirs in the freezer, they can kind of give you their 2 cents on that.
Well,
I do not personally. Just like I said, it's a moisture concern really for me.
imagine putting a muffin or something that you baked in the freezer. About a week or 2 in, it's going to start crystallizing. That's what's going to happen with your food too. And once it crystallizes, it starts breaking it down in a very cold setting.
Mm-hmm. Now, Steph said that the 2.2 pound tub won't last long. So I have like gallon-sized Ziploc bags of flakes from Ken's that are 2-3 years old that have been open, and they're just fine. Like they don't crumble. It's just a flake. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you keep it sealed, you'll be just fine. I think she also said that she tried Extreme and it clouded her water red. Yeah, I don't know. It's a flake. Most of them, despite what their ingredients say, it's going to be a lot of fish meal and soy-based protein and nonsense. So feed it just to get food in the tank. But I honestly, if you have extra money to spend tons of money on prepared foods like flakes and stuff, go for it. But I don't. So I don't do that. Mountaintop Fish, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. Jeffrey Watts, howdy. Xanadu, yes. Xanadu asked, so Caleb and I were talking about the Sioux Falls groups. Xanadu said he's 90 miles away from Maria over in Rochester, or close to it, which isn't far away. Message me on Facebook, Xanadu, and I'll get you added to the Sioux Falls group. There used to be a little more legitimate Sioux Falls club, but over the years it didn't disband. It just kind of, people lost interest for a while because the economy wasn't going great. So it was largely salty. So a lot of the saltwater people kind of got rid of their tanks because it was just tough to run. But now there's renewed life. I've personally talked about trying to set up meetings myself, but haven't got there yet. It's just, like I said, it's summertime. Fish clubs just aren't a priority right now.
I never knew there was a fish club anywhere in South Dakota. That's kind of blows my mind because seriously, like in my town, there's nobody's here. Nobody. There's literally nobody. I know 2 people. That one guy is a saltwater guy. He has a whole bunch of saltwater tanks. He has this and that saltwater, and then the other one is just he bought a whole bunch of tanks for me because he's getting it set up in like a year. And first time. Other than that, there's nothing. There's no club. There's no nothing. I was thinking about starting a club, but there's no lot for it. There's no one even obsessed with like me. So I mean,
right, yeah. So
here,
for those of you that I know, some people are out in small town areas. By the way, Caleb Xanadu said he sent you a pineapple, so you got one more. So you're almost to 1,000. You're getting close, bud. Just about there.
Oh yeah, we've been working on it for a while now. Really starting to go head first this summer. This summer is going to be.
What? It's all right. From?
What's that, Skipper?
South Dakota.
South Dakota. Yep. So I'm down here. If you look at, so this obviously the rectangle in the middle is South Dakota, and those of you that live in not densely populated areas will probably understand this, but I'm in Sioux City, down in the right-hand corner. South Dakota, the biggest town in South Dakota is Sioux Falls, which is at the intersection of I-29 and I-90, and that is about 250,000 people with kind of a metro area of some small towns around it. Caleb, if I'm not mistaken, is up in Aberdeen, and the closest city, like anything worth calling a city, and I'll use the term city as 10,000 people or better, because that's a city in South Dakota, is Watertown, which is probably an hour and a half.
That's
2
not,
hours.
Aberdeen.
that's like
I lived in Rapid City, South Dakota for like 4 years, bud.
Yeah, there's nothing. And Rapid City doesn't have. They've got there's one Facebook group for Rapid City. It's not really like an actual club. I think they hang out maybe once or twice. Sioux Falls, like I said, they've got one technical club, the Sioux Falls Area Aquarium Society, which hasn't met for years. And Caleb, I think it looks like you're set up. If you want to switch, I'll switch you over to your other feed.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I gotta plug my microphone. Oh,
So we'll see if we can kill that.
Thank God I ain't got headphones. Sorry, everybody got headphones right now. He did not mean to do that.
Yes, we get that Doom stocked by Jeep.
Caleb, I sent you a message in private chat, bud. What's up, Danny Welsh? Weshy.
Is Danny here?
Yeah, Weshy.
As always, way behind the back. Crown tail asked, male beta is a goiter. It's a lump under the chin. Can you share what treatment for it and how long it takes to heal? Is it treatable? I personally don't have experience with that. So if anybody, I would guess probably Ian, Patrick, or if Priscilla's still here, they would be able to help you out with that. Generally speaking, anytime there's an infection or anything, clean water, like everybody's like, oh, I got fin rot, or I got this, or I got that. Like clean water is going to do more than most medications, especially now that I know for those of you in Canada, you can't actually get real medications off
If you
the
can get
shelf.
aquarium salt, that's good too.
You need a prescription, but clean water will go farther than Melafix is junk. Pontifex is junk. It's like what tea tree oil and eucalyptus oil, which has natural healing properties. Don't get me started on that one. I think people see a positive change in their fish just because those products also say to do water changes. So I think it's more clean water than anything.
All it does, it gives them, it's like a little booster to try to help their immune system to jumpstart.
Yeah, said. If you can show me the biochemistry behind it, I'll believe you. But at this point in time, it's just a money maker. Atkins, what's up, Ian? That's Caleb from Caleb's Aquatics. So if you haven't hit him up, I'll drop him in the chat once again. And that is a kind of local guy, young kid starting. He's been running his YouTube channel for, I don't know, 1.5 years, 2 years now. And 6 to 9 months ago, he started setting up shop in his garage. So we are glad to have him here.
But he looked so much younger when he started.
He still looks young, man.
Yeah, but I mean younger.
Yeah, and I always tell people that I wish I had the motivation and ambition to learn and to advance in this hobby like I did closer to when I was that age.
Well, like I had the motivation. The problem for me is time.
Yeah. I mean, you get older and then you have responsibilities and a job and whatever, and one thing leads to another.
It sucks life just sucks.
Steph said she uses cheap stuff in general now. It's just a test or buy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like cheap on everything. Like I feed Repashy, but I think it's and like Repashy, there's a lot of benefits to Repashy because it's like a quality formulated food. But as far as flakes go, I don't know how many people actually tell the difference in cheap flakes versus expensive flakes.
I mean, I honestly think if you take the most, we'll say the extreme brand, and then you take the lower brand, if they got pretty much the same, ingredients, why not go with the low brand?
And for the most part, they're pretty close.
Yeah, and it's like a Harley Davidson motorcycles. You're paying for the name.
That's a lot of it. And
yeah, I mean,
if you notice, and I'm not saying don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Extreme's a bad product
No,
at all.
I'm not
And I'm not
either.
saying anything's necessarily a bad product. But there's a lot of stuff out there that, you know, because YouTube has the ability and all this influencer nonsense, and you get these big channels, and it doesn't matter what channel it is, you get a big channel and they get paid or they get offered some products to make a video and
Sponsored,
say that it works well. Like, you know, you have to question. Not everybody out there is like Bentley gives pretty honest reviews of whatever it is. Not everybody out there. If I want to keep getting free stuff from a company, I'm going to say that whatever that company sent me is good stuff. So you kind of have to question, you know, the validity of. And I'm not saying it. Obviously, it's their opinion. Maybe they think it's great, but
a lot of times when they sponsor a video, there's money involved.
Yeah, whether they tell you or not.
Say, what's that, Caleb? You broke up.
Give my input on that. I've been asked multiple times. Like literally, someone right now, Penplex is Penplex, the company right now, literally just emailed me. We're looking for new dealers and this and that. And they literally just emailed me. There's a lot of different things, and half the time they're just total bullcrap things. I'll just completely ignore half the time.
Yeah.
So Danny said he's got family in southern North Dakota, and Ian said he's got family from North Dakota. I mean, Tom, you lived in South Dakota. It gets pretty windy here, right?
Oh,
I mean,
windy.
You know,
windy is no that's light, okay?
Well,
especially when you was on a flight line of freaking you thought you was Teddy Rubskin, you know what I mean? I mean, no, that's light wind, but yes, it does get really bad there.
You know why why South Dakota is so windy though, right?
There's nothing to block it.
North Dakota blows and Nebraska sucks, man. Of course it's gonna be windy here.
Oh yeah, you're stuck in the middle. Ain't that a bitch? And it's funny because they got the thing. They called it the banana belt that holds the snowstorms up North Dakota.
Yeah. So Ian popped in maybe a month and a half ago and showed us a saltwater tank he was setting up, and we kind of talked about some of the basics of setting up a saltwater tank, and he offered to show his saltwater tank to us. So I'd love to see that. So we'll have that up in a little bit. Rack, hey, there's a stranger that doesn't pop in here too often.
Bird Garden, what's up, brother?
Here. Mr. Rack Cross is in the house. If you guys, even if you're not into birds, check out Rack's channel. He's got a live stream of his bird feeder, and I think he's up to like what's the count, Rack? You got see if I can find the stream, because he's got a count on there of how many different species. There's probably I'll call it 10, 25.
Does he still do the koi one?
I don't think he live streams his koi one, at least not that I've seen. But I did watch he was doing a stream one night where he showed the guys that cleaned his pond, and they did an intense job on that thing. And that was crazy to see. But
that's a 24-hour feed.
But he keeps this feed going up, and we can, let's see, it says 15.
Wow.
15. I don't know if I can find that. 10 9. It says 50. Those timestamps are way off. I don't know. But if you look, maybe we'll get lucky. See, look, what's this guy? I don't know.
It's a woodpecker.
Rack, what's that bird, man? Help us out. Anyway, it's just kind of cool to see all the cool stuff he posts. Danny, natural way to boost your moon. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Not a fan. It may boost your immune system. So it's like taking vitamin C.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's good. It'll help a little bit. Rico stands still in the house. Rico, I was talking earlier. Maybe you heard me.
I was right. It's a woodpecker. It's a downy, though.
Downy woodpeckers.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy's. Rico, if you go to Wendy's, get me a Baconator and some fries, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Can you send me your email again? I missed that.
Who, me?
Yeah.
It's in the private chat there, bud.
Yeah, and then I left, and then I lost.
Yeah, he switched. I think he switched, so we lost you
Yeah,
for a
my
second.
computer was. Yeah, it's button.
82
got you.
species. Yeah, Rack said he's up to 82 species, so which is
82.
that's pretty impressive. I don't know. Do you have?
82 species. Wow.
It's
I'm sorry. That's like
it's pretty
that's
impressive for a
amazing.
backyard.
Yeah.
I don't see a link, and I can't find it right now. But I know he used to do a stream of his pond too.
And that was the koi one I was talking. I put it back in there for you, Caleb. Yeah, that was the one I was talking about because I liked the live stream before all that. I had a good time in there with him.
Yeah, and I think I try to jump into the bird garden stream every now and then, and sometimes you get a pretty decent crowd sitting in there. Right now, it's how many people are watching? Probably just me, but can't see. We'll drop them in chat though. Yeah, maybe if you want something just to flip up on another screen and see some cool stuff. Rax live stream is pretty cool. Rico, I think Rico claims everything was his nickname in college.
Yeah, he does. you could say the Pillsbury Doughboy, and he'd be like, "Yeah, that was my nickname in college." What was the Marshmallow Man on Ghostbusters? Stay Puff. Rico, you are Stay Puff from now on.
So my neighbor has there's a robin's nest on his gutter, the down pipe from the gutter under the overhang. There's a robin's nest there, and there was a crow up on the roof of the garage. I was watching the crow was just being a jerk, and the robin's left, of course. And next thing I know, I see this crow flying away with a robin egg in its mouth.
Yep.
Like, crows are jerks, man.
Do you have cowbirds out there?
Cowbirds?
Yeah. So what cowbirds do, they do not raise their own babies. So when the parents leave the nest, they will kick the other eggs out and put their own egg in. And when the other birds come, and they take care of it.
I don't know if we have them or not. I've definitely seen stuff about it, but I don't know.
I freaking hate those birds. They're the worst.
Your water hose splitter.
I know where, Steph. I know where your water hose splitter is.
You know where it's at. Why do you know where her hose splitter is?
It's right where she left it.
That's what my mom always says.
My father started that crap on me.
It's never where I left it because somebody else always picks it up and moves it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I may not leave things, put away, but I always leave them in the same spot, and then I can never find them.
And that happens when my wife cleans. What is that?
Hey, what up, everyone? How's it going?
What's up, Ian?
This is a salty tank, Skipper.
Oh, I thought it was fresh water. My bad.
No. That's all right.
I thought I was going to say it was a fresh water. You need to clean it. It's a little cloudy. All right, go ahead, bud.
No, that's just the front glass. I need to clean it.
Yeah. So I remember when we were talking about you setting this up. So for those of us with bad memory or that just didn't catch it, can you just give us a brief rundown of the tank size, the equipment, and what you got there?
Yeah, so this is a 10-gallon Aqueon tank with a little cheap Nicru LED light from Amazon. It's got a Tidal 55 hang-on back filter, a 50-watt heater, and a AI Nero 3 wave maker. Live sand and mixture of dry rock and purple life rock.
Awesome. And are those green star polyps on the left? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
I got some green star polyps on the left.
Cool.
A little bit of Kenya tree. He's kind of pissed off today. There's a cabbage coral, xenia, a different type of xenia I'm not familiar with
Okay.
right there, but it's got a larger polyp on it.
Yeah. So all pretty easy to find softies that.
Yeah, although the green star polyp is an SPS coral, it's a small stony polyp.
Yeah, that's probably. I had a buddy that had it was a 210-gallon acrylic, and he had this obelisk basically. This just giant like a rock that was from the bottom straight. It was maybe 8 inches wide up to just short of the surface, and the whole thing was covered in GSP. And he had one of his, he had like an MP40 or something near it, and so all that GSP would flow back and forth in the current. So it looked pretty cool. But,
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome.
yeah, was it a yellow Watchman goby?
Yeah, there's a yellow Watchman goby and a candy pistol shrimp.
Okay, and are they actually paired up in there?
Yeah, they're paired up.
Awesome. That's a pretty. I mean, one of the draws to a small saltwater tank is if you can get a pistol shrimp and a goby to pair up. It's pretty cool to see how that works out.
Yeah. And there's a scooter blenny in here.
I was gonna say I thought I saw another one poking around in there. And what do you have in there for crabs and snails? Probably like some astrias and some red leg.
I've got no snails. I've got one hermit.
Okay.
I'm afraid to put a snail in here because I think the hermit will kill it if it's got a big enough shell that he wants. And I don't really want to put any other shrimp in here because I've heard that the pistol shrimp can get pretty territorial towards other shrimp.
Yeah, I could see that happen, especially in a 10-gallon tank like that. And what's the macroalgae that you have there?
Oh, this is Caulerpa. I'm not really sure on the species of Caulerpa, but I know it's a Caulerpa.
Okay. Yeah, I had Caulerpa prolifera, which is more, it almost looks like a Vallisneria.
Yeah.
It's kind of more like a grassy, like seagrass type look.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that in here too, but this stuff liked the tank conditions better.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I had some in my BioCube.
Little Aptasians. Yeah, that's the one.
Taxifolia. Kind of cool. So, and then how long's this tank been up? That looks pretty good because it hasn't been up too long, if I remember right.
I think it's going on 6 weeks.
6 weeks. It's pretty good. And
It's
that
having
light
water
seems to
in
be
it.
sufficient for what you're trying to do with it.
Yeah, because I cycled the tank fishless, and then I've added turbo start as I've added fish in, just to get more beneficial bacteria in there. Plus, I used live sand and the dry live rock, and I put actual live rock from the fish store in here.
Yep. Awesome.
Although I do think I need to put more pods in here, but I'm also thinking about culturing copepods in my Zist brine hatchery.
Okay.
I think that'd be doable.
Yeah, I would imagine that would probably work out okay.
Because I've seen people just doing them in 2 liters, and I'm like, well, we do brine shrimp in 2 liters.
Yeah.
Why can't I do copepods in my brine shrimp hatchery?
Yeah, I'd imagine it should work out just fine for you.
Yeah, let's see.
Now, Caleb, do you have any intention of offering saltwater at your shop? Or setting up a saltwater display?
Probably never, just because there is zero demand at all. Like, I would be losing my butt off because if I wanted to make that profitable, I would never make that out. It'd be more of a personal thing. I have a little 10-gallon salt with a couple of 2 clownfish and different live rock and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I know Rapid City, they've got about 75,000-80,000 people out there, plus sturgeons and spearfish, and even Rapid City, there've been a couple attempts at saltwater shops, and they just can't keep up out there. It's just
Just all saltwater?
Yeah, I know. This guy, his name was Nathan. He tried to offer what was it? Oh, his shop was Refined Reefs, I think. He tried to offer all salt water. He did some internet auctions on the side for stuff, and it just didn't really pan out as far as the local scene goes.
Good luck trying to make it. Good luck trying to make it as a store doing fresh salt and nets itself.
Yeah, it's tough. I know Matt that runs Sioux Falls Aquatics. He started before he even opened his shop. He started doing a lot of maintenance stuff, so setting tanks up for people and running tanks, and that keeps him. The majority of his time is probably doing maintenance stuff for people.
Yeah, I work at a water and freshwater fish store.
How you doing,
And we
man?
do
Good. What up? What up?
Good. Thanks for stopping by. It's nice to see you, man.
I had to stop in and say thanks for all the love for the Bird Garden channel. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I think I have that thing, in the background on my computer playing most of the time.
I do too. And the TV in the living room, it's really a fun toy. And you don't see it, but it's right beside the pond where I do all the filming for the Pond Life channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why there's no sound. You can't hear the birds because the water's drowning everything out. So I just turned the volume off.
Really? Okay. So now, have you thought about setting up like another camera from a different angle where you could kind of see both of them and have like multiple views on the feeder? Or?
Yeah, I have a whole studio planned for out there, but you got to go, brick by brick. I do have a cable laying beside the pond. It's already hardwired into the house for an underwater camera.
Wow.
I'm trying to work out the technology for a 24/7 live stream underwater for the koi.
Really?
Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah. That would be sweet.
It's all, it's just money, right?
It's just money.
Yeah.
I found a camera that would allow me to do that. It would be better if I had a grant.
Well, it's just money, but it brings you happiness.
That's right. Yeah, if I have the money and it makes me happy, no worries. So and tonight I don't have the money. I was up late tonight, crying over my cryptocurrency portfolio. hasn't quite found its way to the moon, as they say yet. But when it does, we're all going to be watching koi underwater 24/7. I promise.
Now, real quick, I blew up Ian's screen. He had his scooter blenny was out and about a second ago. And if you're not familiar,
you got to bring that comment down to see it.
Bright red guy was pretty impressive.
I caught a glimpse of him. There's beautiful fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ruby red dragon.
That's a pretty neat little fish there. Yeah, it's a nice setup you got.
Yeah, they're a little difficult to keep, from what I've heard. They need a lot of live copepods and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I've met Atkins Nature Aquariums yet. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
It's I've been loving your channel, man.
Thanks, man. It's been a while since I've seen Caleb. He's all grown up now.
No kidding. We were just talking about that.
I was like, man, how old is this kid now? I remember when he's a little dude.
I wonder. I'm gonna see if I can find one of Caleb's old videos.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
It was great to see all things fish in the Bird Garden chat. That was really pleasant surprise. I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, I try to stop by. I don't always comment, but I try to at least like I said, I usually have it up, running in the background, so I can poke my head in and see what's going on. Like I said,
well, I've got that channel that you guys. It's mostly the FishFam. It's over 500 subscribers now, and the thing about that 24/7 cam is the watch hours are amazing. Now I'm well over 3,000 hours. I'm going to get the hours before I get the subs for monetization.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know Rico Stan was a singer.
Oh.
Sorry, Rico, if you're famous. I didn't know that about you.
No, he's not. He's just a listen. Come on, let's not even go there with Rico. Don't do that because his head will swell.
Well, I would love to hear Rico Stan sing sometime. He's also a big supporter of the Bird Garden channel.
Oh yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
So speaking of singing, Danny Weshy said that if we're gonna do karaoke, he wants in. So,
Danny the singer.
I don't know if he's a singer. He just said he wants in on karaoke.
Well, and then
No
he
way.
says, "I will be sure to disappoint you." So,
So
he's going to be the Jim Carrey of the karaoke.
I think we ought to do a collage thing of I've got friends in low places.
we can
Oh
make it happen.
man, I could do that. Like seriously, I could do it.
So there's Caleb in 2019.
Wow.
And,
Look at that kid.
What,
Wow.
what were you like
Big ass
13 when you started, Caleb?
Huh?
I said, what were you like 13 when you started that stream?
How old do you think I am now? Well,
Now?
Yeah,
I bet
well, I wasn't 13. No.
I'd give you 15 or 16.
Oh yeah, 15.
So not too far off then.
So yeah, I was like,
Holy cow!
So young buck. Now, Rack, we were talking about that koi pond. I know you were telling me we were watching the video that one night during the stream. You were showing everybody how the two guys that were there were cleaning it out. So do you have any video or pictures you could share after it was cleaned up and filled back up? Did you fish back in there?
Yeah, so the latest video on the Pond Life YouTube channel was it's underwater slow motion koi, but it's after the clean. New York Gold watched it. He said, "Man, that water looks so clean you could drink it."
Yeah.
Yeah, but I tried to get fancy. I had a company install, not the pond company, not Pond Country, but another company install an autofill. And it never worked properly, and they removed it. And I think they've torn the liner because I'm adding water every other day.
Oh, really?
Yep, and that's in a 5,000 gallon outdoor pond. Adding water it's unique. You can add water from the tap without a chlorine problem due to volume for the fish, but the beneficial bacteria is very sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a little bit of cloud right now. And I overflowed the 300-gallon stock tank tonight. You know how we are. We got to tweak everything. So I figured out I can fill up the stock tank, let it set for a day, and then fill the main pond, out of the tank without any chlorine issues. So I've started filling up the 300-gallon tank again today. We got a guest over here, and guess what I forgot? That I was filling up the 300-gallon tank. So my neighbor wants to know why his yard's muddy. I said, well, I was filling up the pond, and he said, well, how does my yard get muddy when you fill up your pond? I said, well, I was putting the pond water in this 300-gallon tank. Why do you have a 300-gallon tank if you have a pond?
Well,
let's have a beer. I'll tell you about it.
You might just give that fellow a tour. Like he'll be like, "Oh, okay."
funny story, actually.
Yeah.
We have a couple other faces that stopped in. We're glad they're here. Jesse from HC Aqua. What's up,
Jesse?
man?
What's up? Well, Jesse, I smoked a good cigar tonight.
Did you? What'd you have?
I had a Padron 1964 anniversary.
Yeah.
Maduro. It's beautifully smooth. I love those things.
Good smoke tonight too. Some good stuff, man.
Caleb.
Well, it may soon be legal. I'm just saying.
Oh well, not for him.
Good.
You still have to meet the age requirement.
Does he got a mustache yet? No, he does not.
No, Mario here. What the heck?
Angus is here. What's up, Angus?
So,
Aquatics.
I got a question, and I've been needing this answered.
Okay.
Do we have any clue what happened to Joseph JH? He kind of like fell off the earth, and I've tried to call him, and nothing's happened. I just didn't know if he was alive or if he's. I don't know. Anyone have any update on him?
You talking about JH Aquatics?
Yeah, Joseph.
I'm not familiar with him, to be honest.
Oh.
Man, he got a girlfriend. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I haven't seen, but
life happened.
He moved to Michigan and all this, and I just didn't know if he was like fell off the planet or if this relationship didn't work out or what, or I don't know. I guess I just didn't know if anything happened to him. I don't know.
Many things happen.
Yeah.
I think like most of us, he didn't win the YouTube lottery, and he was spending 40 hours a week plus on trying to build a channel, and
Oh,
just
yeah.
wasn't getting the reward. And at some point, you got to start investing in other things and other people. I understand.
Crypto, right?
It is for me, for better or for worse. Are you doing any crypto?
A little bit, not a lot.
Yeah, I have a modest position too.
So
No.
I loved it
Don't
3
do it.
weeks ago. It was swollen, and now it's shriveled.
see, I played, played a little bit and got out when things got crazy for the most part. I still am holding some, but
Well, if you know anything about crypto, and if I'm not encouraging you to learn if you don't, I'm not an advocate. It was fun for me. The coin, this is nuts. If you know, you'll understand why this is nuts. The most profitable coin I had was Dogecoin,
oh yeah,
and it's supposed to be a joke meme coin, and it's the one that made the money. S knows. S is Doge to the moon.
I got money in Dogecoin too. I thought it was a great business move. My dad helped me make up a junior account or whatever. They can like make a junior account underneath your parents' like account. So I got myself an account. Had some fun. That's for sure.
Danny up there with the Bitcoin. Way to go.
Yeah,
It doubled my money, so I took it and left. And see you later.
well, that whole Bitcoin thing, if you start at the very beginning, oh my.
And you wouldn't believe this. People never believe me. My uncle, don't ask me how. He had like, I want to say like $1,000 in like GameStop. Don't ask me why he picked GameStop. He picked it. This whole skyrocketed GameStop. He got out of there and he made like a bandit. I don't know how he predicted this because he bought GameStop quite a while back and got the jackpot and just like went nuts. It was crazy for him.
Ask Jesse. Jesse tried to play GameStop. How'd that work for you, Jesse? I mean, we were giving him a hard time. He didn't lose any money on it, I don't think, but he was holding on to it, waiting for it to keep going, and it had fizzled out by then. But
the whole thing with GameStop was whenever they started to do the download of the full games, and they were done.
So Ian and I were talking saltwater instead of stock market stuff in the chat a little bit. So Ian set up his 10, and I told him that that's a kind of motivation for me to set up some sort of saltwater, probably in my BioCube again. But I also have a 180 acrylic that I talked about, maybe doing a predator tank in, with like some sort of puffer, a smaller eel. It's a 6x2x2 tank, so I could get away with some smaller stuff for a little while, and maybe like a Fu Manchu or a fuzzy dwarf line or something kind of cool. But I don't know. For 180, that's a lot of salt water to make, and I hate making salt water. I don't know how many of you guys keep salt, but salt water is a pain in the butt. It's just it turns water to I don't mind water changes on my freshwater tanks. Water changes on a saltwater tank, that's just a chore to me, and it's messy. You get salt creep everywhere. Just not a good time.
That's why those fish are so beautiful.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
If they weren't, no one would do that.
Yeah.
Santa duty. It's not too late. We could do maybe like once a month or something. We'll do a live stream where we just dedicate it to karaoke, and we'll bring people up and we'll have people sing karaoke on here.
What are your stats now? All things fish. I'm in the. Let's see.
I think I'm at 415 subs.
Golly, man, you got it made. You're over the hump. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm trying, man, and I'm about 2,000 hours. So I'm actually doing way better on watch time than I am subscribers right now. Oh, hey, here we got some action. Hold on. Pause this. I'm clicking through the bird stream here, trying to see if I can find anything particularly exciting. I mean, at this point in time, I get excited no matter what I see on there, just because it's cool to see stuff.
A lot of those videos I just pull clips from. If you go to one of the edited videos,
we got like 3 birds in here right now. We got that downy woodpecker. and this little red something or other on the left.
No, that's the hairy woodpecker. He looks like the downy, but he's about twice the size.
Okay.
And that's a house finch male on the left and a house finch female on the 3-bowl feeder.
Okay. We're gonna see. You guys didn't know you're gonna learn about birds tonight on the All Things Fish Chat. Patty would be beside herself. She thinks I said talk about fish. Don't shut up forever. But we're learning about birds tonight.
I mean, I love all creation, but fish, they're a sweet spot. Birds, I can't say enough about the birds. I love those guys.
Let's see what else we can find in here. Oh,
There's a downy. Can you see the size difference?
oh yeah. What else can we find? Oh,
There's a northern cardinal male.
Now I've got 2 pairs of these. Now last year I didn't have any cardinals at my house at all. Never saw them. I'd see them like down the block. I'd see them, but this year there's 2 pairs, so 2 males, 2 females that I see that come from my neighbor's house to the north all the time. They're always around. Patrick, nothing's as aggravating as salt creep. You bet. It's just a headache, just a giant pain. All kinds of action right there. There's a dove. Hey, I know that one.
Morning dove.
He hung out there for a while. Now, if I had the extra
Carolina
bandwidth,
wren.
if I had the bandwidth and just a TV to mount and just like dedicate to your bird watching stuff, I probably would.
Listen, I love birds, but I have issues here because I live in town. They like to make bird nests inside my house.
Baby bluebird. Yeah.
Inside your house?
Yeah.
Listen, you developed on an area that once belonged to them.
It's the sparrows. Oh, I can never remember the name of them.
No,
I'll have to look it up, but that's the issues. Then the robins, they do what they do.
I had a robin nest on my porch. They don't care where they nest. They just got a nest.
Yeah, I had to remove it because it's on the front porch. Then I found one that swing set of my, for my kids, and I was like, well, no, because they can get, pretty evil. And then there's another one on the downspouting. I got a 2-story house, so it's way up, and I'm like, yep, it can stay there.
Oh, this is amazing. This is wide open bird feeding station. There's no cover for 20, 30 feet. You can see it in the background. It's 83 degrees, and that feeder is still active.
Wow.
That just means the birds have a lot of trust in that area.
Right.
It took a year to cultivate that.
Huh.
It's a little guy.
House finch female.
Now, Patrick said he wants to hand feed some house finches so we can cross them to some canaries. Is that?
I don't know about that, Patrick. What?
Is that a thing?
Causing trouble with the.
Now, will they actually cross?
No,
I'm not a bird guy, so I don't know much about the genetics there.
no.
So,
Not naturally, I would guess, but if anybody could do it, Dragon Lair could do it.
Patrick could probably figure it out.
Not naturally.
Ian said they've got dwarf lions at a shop. That's pretty cool.
Rico Stan says he's got 4,000 hours, but needs 550 subs. Yeah, there you go.
Let's make it happen, Rico Stan. Come on, man.
Yeah, I think one marathon singing live stream, Rico, and you're there.
It could happen. It could happen.
Well, his singing live stream will have to be Kenny Rogers.
He mentioned the Piano Man. Yeah, he can rock some Billy Joel.
But he looks like Kenny Rogers.
He does look like Kenny, dead ringer.
He hates me for that. Know when to fold 'em. The whole Rika, he's a good fella. I love him. Even though he's from New York.
Let's see.
I
Somebody said
tuned
they're
in
close to subs.
to his stream today with Rachel. That was pretty. I mean, I haven't actually met Rachel in person, but I've kind of followed her over the years and purchased a bunch of stuff through her since before it was even like, I don't know, like when you could first start getting like fish online. I feel like Rachel was after it.
I'm going to say she's one of the OGs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she definitely was.
She brought a lot of knowledge to the YouTube game. She was all about fish before she was all about YouTube.
And I think that's, and I don't know if you guys caught the beginning of my stream, mostly like the stream's titled, accountability. And, it's easy enough to get on YouTube and talk anymore these days.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've kind of been a little lax on letting people get away with, sharing some questionable information and poor advice. And I think just the hobby as a whole, it's detrimental to the hobby, and we just need to hold each other to a little bit higher standard. And like you said, it's the people like Rachel and some of those folks that spread quality information. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. The real hardcore hobbyists, the real smart hobbyists, and I'm not dogging on anybody, but like when it comes to plants, you look like Tom Barr, or Colin, or whoever. If you look at fish, you're talking like Rachel or Rusty. If you're into cichlids, Rusty or Wayne. Unfortunately, we just lost Wayne. Those guys, they have better things to do. They'd rather be learning and working on tanks. Obviously, they'll go talk at shows. I know Rusty still goes to shows, and Tom's been doing some lectures for like Zoom meetings for clubs and stuff. But you don't see them on YouTube where, the majority, like you look at some of these people on YouTube, they've got 100,000 followers. And unfortunately, it sucks because you see them, they're like, you have a ton of people listening to you, so they care about what you think, and they're probably following a lot of what you say, and then you go and share terrible advice.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate part there, YouTube doesn't reward good information. It rewards SEO.
Yeah, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, and I was researching today, and one category, topic expertise, is calculated by the number of subscribers you have.
Yeah.
Not really related, in my opinion, to expertise.
Oh, yeah. And you can be, I'm not going to mention any names, how I feel about certain people, and it doesn't matter for the purpose of the stream. If you want to talk about it with me in person, I'll talk about it with you in person, but not in this format. That have been doing YouTube for so long that no matter how good or bad the content or information that they attempt to spread, they've just been at it for so long and grinded for such a long time that they have a huge following, and people take what they say as gospel because they have a huge following. And it's unfortunate that your subscriber count and your view count like gives you some sort of like false credibility as like a reputable source of information. Well, I have 50,000 followers. I know what I'm doing. Like, people like to listen to you talk.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to have a pretty face. Like, if I was going to listen to somebody talk that didn't know what they were talking about, I'd at least make them look good.
Well, yeah. So whenever I first started doing this, it wasn't for the subs. It's just something to do, And I still don't look for subs, but I like the people that follow me. I'll show them people that's been in the hobby for a while. I tell them to go watch that and learn from it. But there's just so many out there right now that like you said, oh, this is what works, but it doesn't do.
It's difficult, and like I've said it for years. It's like, I feel like, and maybe I was just naive, or maybe I was newer to the hobby when forums were bigger, like before Facebook hit. Like forums, it seemed like the information was a little more credible. Like people had reputations on forums for being credible.
Yeah.
Like you knew who the trolls were. It was, it was maybe a smaller environment, so people were held a little more accountable. And now we have Facebook groups, and Facebook is awesome because you can reach literally millions of people instantly. And unfortunately, you don't have to like people blindly follow your word, and you can share like somebody like Rack could talk about birds in a bird group, and he could share awesome information, and a million people could get it like that. Unfortunately, myself, who doesn't know crap about birds, could get on there and say something that's just nonsense, and I still have access to the same million people, and they don't know the difference between us. It sucks. That's the only reason I watch you, Rico. Right there. That's it. In fact, I usually just mute it. I usually just mute it and just stare at your face and pretend you're whispering things in my ear.
Oh man, it got weird right there for a second.
You wait till it's karaoke night, Rack. We're gonna have
I am waiting. I'm here. I want the karaoke to start.
We'll have to bring in Caleb to hit those high notes.
Caleb, you're the tenor.
Well,
I think most of us, we're well developed in a sense of not being able to hit those high notes anymore.
what? Am I just like the undercard here? What the heck, man?
Well, the young one usually has to take the brunt. That's just how it is.
It's unfortunate, but
yeah, it's going to make you an awesome old one, though, Caleb. You hang around.
Right.
It's also, we're going to pick on Caleb a little bit because out of everybody in the chat tonight, I'm pretty sure Caleb has the highest subscriber count.
What are you talking about? Rack has like 3,000 or something. I can't remember.
Listen. I'm Bird Garden YouTube channel tonight,
503.
Caleb. 502 subscribers. You win.
503. I think we got you one.
All right.
Special 503.
I'll take the win, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
I hear
not
you
his
guys coming.
original
Thanks.
channel.
Thanks.
There's probably that one person in the chat that goes, "Oh, I got more subscribers." Guys, don't say that. Come on, guys. Let me take a moment. Just let me have it.
I'll give you a cookie next time I see you, Caleb.
All right.
800.
How many tanks you got again?
Just tell me you want it double stuffed.
How many tanks do I own, or how many tanks do I have with
Two
water?
Oreos.
I own 56 tanks. I have
And
7.
half of them are empty?
I have 7 with water in them right now. I'm building a new fish room, man.
Wait,
I'm trying.
7?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
7.
I have a stack of tanks stacked inside of tanks, shoved in the corner of my basement because I just turned a rack from 4 feet tall to 8 feet tall.
So listen, all right, I'm gonna tell you the true story, right? So this dude goes overseas, okay, and he had to break it down.
Who's this dude?
You, and it was a vacation. I don't want to hear it. So
hey, it was an austere environment, okay?
So he goes overseas, right? And then he just breaks his fish room down. He has this one tank. I don't know. I think it was like a 125, and it was all like high tech and stuff, That's his main tank right now. It's his 125.
I've shown you guys that tank, and my wife took care of it the whole time I was gone. She probably took better care of it than I do, to be honest.
Sorry, Mike. I had to do that.
Whatever. I'm over it. So.
But he's building back up to what he used to do.
Trying. But
the unfortunate part is whenever you have to do that, unfortunately, you have to do what you have to do.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful tank.
It is.
I just trimmed 400 stems out of it last week, and it looks about like this right now. So I've got 60. I think I'm up to 65 species of plants in it right now, or not necessarily true species. There's some that are location variants. So like in the middle, there's some Ludwigia inclinata Cuba, and on the right side there's Ludwigia inclinata Pantanal. If you're not familiar, the Cuba stays more of like a yellow orange. The Pantanal gets more like a red pink for whatever reason. just it's the same. It's the same plant genetically as it just collected a different place on an island or in a jungle or whatever,
Okay.
and it happens to display different coloration.
Hmm.
So it's like so the left center there's Pogostemon stellatus Dassin, which is like a narrow leaf Pogostemon stellatus that shows pink and purple color. And the center there's Pogostemon stellatus Kimberly, which gets much larger leaves, wider, quite a bit longer.
It's
So
gorgeous.
technically different variants, but not truly different species.
They're all beautiful. Like seriously.
Dragon Lair said 5,000 worth of lights and CO2 on that tank. Mike, nope. So this is, like I said, it's a 125. So I bought the 125 with the stand, 80 Amazonia, and a cheap LED light with 2 Aquatop CF 500 filters. I paid $300. So I got 300 there. I just put 3 Nylock G prisms on it at 140 a piece. That's 280, 380, 420. So 420 lights, and then my CO2 setup cost me $100. So I'm under $1,000. And my CO2 setup, I bought that setup in 2005 for $100, and I make about $100 selling plants out of it every 2 weeks. So this tank's,
Wow.
it hasn't made me a ton of money, but I don't lose money running this tank, and I don't have $5,000 worth of stuff on it. You could, if you wanted to put like UNS Titans or something on it, you could easily run up a bill of $5,000. Like I said, I'm at what, 700-800, and it cost me. I use dry salts from Nylock G Aquatics, so it cost me about $20 a year to fertilize it. CO2, it's a 10-pound CO2 tank that I fill about every 4 months for $20. So,
But don't you have like your oh man, don't you have some basic plants like low light to advanced in that?
yeah, so in the back left corner, there's Limnophylla heterophylla, which I'm pretty sure is just a reclass of Sessiflora, because Sessiflora is on the noxious weeds list. But that's a super easy bright green plant. And then there's stuff like there's probably the rarest plant in this tank is an Econodorus iguazu, which is just a rare sword from a limited collection point back in the late 2000s. And then there's some Ligonandras, which are kind of like a crypt. Yeah, there's a pretty good mix in there. Ian asked, how often do I have to trim the stems, and how do you disperse the CO2 in a tank that long? So I could, like, some of these stems in here actually grow probably an inch a day. So I could trim them once a week. I usually trim about every 2 to 3 weeks. And that just depends on the species. Some of them grow a little bit faster than others. And then dispersing CO2. So this tank, if I was going to set this tank up again, I would drill it with overflows. I just happened to get a good deal on it without overflows, so I kept it that way. So it has 2 Aquatop CF 500 canister filters on it, which it's kind of a budget canister. I like it. For the budget, I've had it since 2018, and they've worked well. So I don't have any gripes about it. But I have a Rex Griggs style inline reactor, which I built out of PVC for about $15. So I just have that plumbed into the outlet on the filter. So I get, because of the size of the reactor, I can dissolve as much CO2 as I want into the water column and get good dispersion. So that's that. Thanks, Patrick. What fish is in it? You can't see it because it's densely planted, but there's actually about, juvies and adults. There's 40 Chalathrina alani wapoga in this tank, which is a fairly uncommon rainbow fish. They do actively spawn in here, and I pull fry out. Chalathrina alani. So it's Chalathrina alani is the species. Wapoga is the collection point, and I will show you that here. That's these guys. Kind of made famous by Gary Lang.
Wow.
They put them in Amazonas.
They're beautiful. Like
Priscilla says
that-
hi, Rick. Well, technically she said hearts, but she said hi. So that's what's in the
Priscilla.
tank. Like I said I have 6 corridors, so Dallas in there, and then I have. It started as a group of about 12 of the Chilathrina alani wapoga rainbows. So currently have probably 30 to 40. So they're not hard to spawn. Kind of your typical rainbow fish. You put them up in there, you pull them up, you're going to get eggs and hatch them out with some live food. Thanks for stopping by, Caleb. Caleb said he managed to leave, but he's worked on some videos. So we will see you again. Caleb's about 100 subscribers short of hitting 1,000.
We got to help Caleb out.
But
he's going to be a powerhouse one day.
Let's get him there.
I want to get him up as a guest on my channel. I do it Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and I could probably help him out on my side of it.
Yeah, I mean 100's not all that far. I think we
No.
can get there. And then Rack, I don't know if you saw Tom's message in the private chat.
Missed it. What'd Tom say?
He just wants to have you up on his speaking of his live.
Yeah, hit
streams.
me up. DM me somewhere.
I think I got you on Facebook. I can't remember.
Yeah, let's see. If you go to the however, there's a contact or about section on the YouTube channel. There's an email.
I'll email. Yeah, I'll email you
Yeah.
the Bird Garden channel.
Yeah, it's Rat Cross. Yeah, all over Facebook. So many channels there. If Priscilla's, go ahead.
I like to bring people up on my channel so people get to know on my side of the fish fam that, well, they may know or they may not know who, that keeps fish or whatnot. And I just try to, it's pretty much a laid back interview chat. You know what I mean?
I hit you back on the private chat.
All right.
Yeah, I like your stream. It's intimate.
Intimate. Ooh.
Yeah, you should come. You'd like it.
Yeah, he knows. Don't let him fool you. Me and him's been talking since I started modding on Dan's fish.
It's been
Oh,
a while.
cool.
Speak of the devil.
Speaking, holy cow, that was like creepy.
Big Dan's in the house.
Uh-oh.
Dan, quit following me. Damn
Yeah,
it.
Dan stopped by tonight. Caleb stopped by tonight. We're getting big. We're getting
Dude,
huge.
you're blowing up, man.
I don't know what to do. Thanks for stopping by, Dan.
Yeah.
Did you guys set up a little straighter when you saw Dan pop in there? I did.
I
Gosh,
had to-
Dan's here.
I'm not wearing my breeding as pleasure, my Dan's fish breeding as pleasure shirt tonight, so he's probably gonna dog on me for that one. But
That's one of those coincidence things. Wow.
I want to say something to Priscilla if she's still here.
I'm sure
She and I have a common interest. If you can see that, Priscilla, there you go. I started writing again, working on a couple of new tags.
There you go, little bigs action.
Yeah, I'm going up. I'm going to get up.
Getting there. Where'd it go?
Priscilla's going to be mad at me, but I'm trying to figure out a new thumbnail.
She just made your last one.
I know. I've had it for a while. I've just been thinking about it. It's hard to do.
So Ian mentioned looking at reactors. Now this is a pretty simple reactor. This is about how I have mine set up. So some of the reactors for CO2 can get pretty crazy. Obviously, this looks like it's plumbed in line with either a canister filter or just a dedicated pump. But water flows in from the top downward. The CO2 line, I usually put my CO2 line in about a third of the way down from the top of the reactor, and then the water flows out the bottom back up to the tank. And more or less the physics behind it, I guess, which I'm not a physics guy. The water's flowing down, the CO2 bubbles are flowing up, and they just sit and tumble nonstop until they dissolve, and then it gets washed into the main tank. So they do take up a little bit of space, but they're cheap, they're effective. This is a Rex Griggs style in this picture. Tom Barr has recently, well, I don't know if he recently designed it, but he has basically a purge line where any CO2 that accumulates that doesn't dissolve, it accumulates in the top of that reactor chamber. He has a purge line that feeds it back into the flow line coming in, which kind of a neat setup. The other style is a Sergi's reactor, which is a little bit different style. I prefer, the Rex Griggs is a lot easier to build. It's a little bit cheaper. I think you can do a Sergi's for maybe $40 or $50. Rex Griggs you do like for 15 or 20. But they do take up a little bit of space, but they're way more effective than a diffuser or an inline atomizer, and you don't get micro bubbles in the tank.
That's pretty neat.
So that's that.
Sophisticated
science stuff. I mean, planted tanks, especially like planted tanks with CO2. Like you got to do a planted tank. You're like, okay, I got some plants, right? Like this is easy. But well, wait, I need to give them nutrients. Well, nutrients seem like they can be complicated, especially when you get into dosing dry salts. But you don't have to be as precise as some people try to make it out to be successful. Like as long as you get close, that's what the estimated index is all about. As long as you give them at least enough of what they need, then you'll be fine. And healthy plants will outcompete algae any day of the week. And then you get into CO2 a little bit. CO2 seems daunting until you get down to it. Like, okay, as long as you buy a quality CO2 setup, don't get I'm not saying don't cheap out on it, but if you get a cheaper setup, you're going to have more problems with it just because it doesn't hold the settings as well, etc. If you get a quality CO2 setup, like my setup on the 125, I set it up about a year ago when I set the tank up, and I literally, when I have to swap the tanks, I take the tank off, I put the tank on, and it's exactly the same as it was before. So there's not a lot to setting it up. Some people use like a pH monitor or a pH controller to look for their one pH drop, whatever, to hit their target CO2 level. I don't know. I don't check my CO2 level. I look at the tank. I'm like, it looks like it could use it'll take a little more. So I crank it up some. And if it holds, then I leave it there. If I start running into problems, I tweak it back a little bit.
I've got a question.
I have an answer.
What part of I'm sure you do. I'm going to ask it here because I think you've got the answer. What part of the plant is responsible for the nutrient uptake and the water quality?
It depends.
Yeah.
The standard science answer, it depends. Obviously there are, people think of like your crypts and your swords, like your heavy rooters, they only get their nutrients from the substrate, which they root heavily, so they do draw a lot of nutrients from the substrate, but all plants will uptake nutrients through both the water column and the substrate. That's the way you can have sand in itself. Sand holds no nutrients, right? It's inert. There's no nutrients in it unless there's detritus and stuff that slowly works its way into the sand, and then it breaks down, and that's a different story. Or if you use root tabs, but you can have a sand tank or a gravel tank, and if you dose the water column, your plants will thrive because they can still uptake water, through the leaves themselves. Obviously, with gravel's a little bit different, and sometimes depending on gravel size, because it's larger, you do get water flow through the gravel, which carries nutrients down to the roots themselves. So can be benefits there. Like an under gravel filter is actually it's really effective, especially in a reverse flow. The problem is that the plants decide that they want to entangle themselves in a filter plate, and then you run into problems.
Yeah, remember that. But this 55, you were saying about the whole gravel thing. I don't fertilize it, and I don't vacuum, the gravel, and it's doing great.
Yeah, it depends. There's a lot of variables to it.
I have a sponge filter and a hang on the back for flow, and that's it.
And there's everybody's going to have their opinion on what works best. As far as some people like loose soil, with sand caps or gravel caps, and you guys know how I feel about that. And the soil itself, obviously, the soil holds a ton of nutrients. Unfortunately, the problem is that the soil holds a ton of nutrients. Like it's literally like a lot of people run into problems because like, oh, this is a cheap way to do a nice planted tank, and you can't have an amazing planted tank with loose soil capped. Unfortunately, a lot of the people see it as cheap, so they're new. They want to do things cheap, but they don't have the experience, I guess, and the know-how to see things when they're happening and try to get ahead of them a little bit.
Yep.
But you have an extremely nutrient-dense substrate. Well, if that's not capped really well, like if you don't hold those nutrients down from getting into the water column, now you have an extremely nutrient-dense water column. Because all that stuff, whatever's in it, and you don't know what's in it, it's soil. You have no idea. Like you have an idea, like, there's probably there might be like some urea or something. There might be some phosphate. So, but there's no way of measuring it, right? So you have the substrate that if you don't have it sealed down, those nutrients are all going to leak into the water column. Well, if you don't have healthy plants and you don't have it heavily planted, all those nutrients are like, oh my God, I have algae. Well, probably because you're leaching everything into the water column. And you don't know what it is. Like you literally have no idea, short of just testing the water and see, okay, well, my phosphates are going up or my sulfates are going up. Like you have no clue. Like I'd personally rather have an inert substrate or something like something that just has a high nutrient capacity. So not something that necessarily has the nutrients, but has the capacity to hold the nutrients. Because then I know what I'm putting in the tank. Like if you go get organic potting soil, you're going to get, wood chips. There's going to be bugs in there that are slowly decaying over time. You're just releasing organics. You don't know what there is. Like, but in nature, like ideally, like hypothetically in nature, like, it's unlimited nutrients. It's great. It's great for plant growth in nature. It's the natural way. But the issue there is that nature isn't a closed system. Like we keep a glass box. It's a closed system. Like there's no way for nutrients to go in and out other than what we do. And that's kind of, I'm kind of rambling off topic here. But you'll see these people that, like the Wallstead method.
We ain't gonna get
and I'll just briefly touch on it. Like the Wallstead method or like the father fish way of doing things, the natural way, or like the people that claim they don't do water changes ever. I'm like, well, in nature, like nobody does water changes in nature. I'm like, if you look at most bodies of water in nature, you have like 100 gallons or 100% turnover rate every hour. Like a stream or a creek, there's always fresh water flowing into it, whether you have snow melt off, whether you have creeks, whether you have rainwater, whatever. And okay, so you get evaporation out of it. Okay, that's going to condense the nutrients. And like if you have a pond, like it's not moving water, it's just a pond. Like you get evaporation, you get fresh rainwater going into it. Okay, so you have a water change. Like, but the nutrients stay behind. No, the nutrients have all the substrate they can leach down into forever. They don't have a sealed glass container on the bottom to keep everything in there.
Nope.
Like these people are like, well, I haven't done a water change in years. I just do top offs. I'm like, okay, so even if let's say that you just do top offs, okay, and even if your tank is running okay, eventually. So it's simply like even if you have, we'll say you have it's a great bunch of live plants, so you're uptaking a lot of nutrients. Well, as you're doing top offs, unless you're doing top offs with like 0 TDS RODI, you're still adding, we'll say like calcium and magnesium in there, so that water is slowly getting harder. As water evaporates, it's leaving nutrients behind, and you're adding more nutrients into it. Sure, the plants use up some, but you're slowly making that water harder and harder. Well, and then over time, so okay, if you don't do, like some people just say, well, I do a water change every 3 or 4 months and my tank's fine. Like, okay, so municipal water, like it changes seasonally. Like I'm sure no matter where you're at, even if you're on a well, like your water changes seasonally. Well, if you don't
say municipal, I can tell you a lot about municipal.
if you don't do a water change for 3 or 4 months, that's 3 or 4 months that your tank water is drifting further and further away from whatever your source water is for your water change. So now, like if I do 10% a week or 50% a week, I'm keeping it close to whatever the source water is. The source water is slowly going to change over time, but my tank is slowly changing over time. If you do a water change every 4 months, your tank water's slowly changing somewhat, and your source water could change drastically. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do 50% water change. Well, now you're putting drastically different water in your tank, so you're changing your parameters a greater amount. I don't know. Water changes are. Shut up, Patty.
Yeah, she's messing with me a little shit.
And then I don't know. I go off on this. People post all the time, like, well, when should I do water changes? So, well, only when your nitrates test high. Well, there's a lot more in your water to consider than just nitrates. And most people say, well, do it. Keep your nitrates under 20 or keep your nitrates under 40 or they're dangerous. I'm like, your nitrates can be up well over 100 before they're dangerous to most fish. Like most fish, nitrates don't even care. Like they're nitrates, sure. I'm like, I can probably go test my tank, my big tank right now. And since I trimmed it recently, the nitrates are probably over 40 because I dosed a little bit heavy on the nitrates.
Well, yeah, when you take the, what was there out, it's gonna, do that. But it's hard.
And I'm sure, so I don't have a pond. Like a pond's a little more of an open environment as opposed to like a closed box like our tanks. But you're still doing water changes on your ponds.
Yeah. And
not recommended by the Aquascape pond system.
Yeah.
So they build an ecosystem pond and they recommend a bog filter. And so your water changes happen if you get a heavy rain and it overflows. There's an overflow system built into it.
Yep.
And so I'm questioning. There's very limited plants in the deep portion of the pond. Lots of plants in the margin and in the higher filtration where the fish aren't, because the koi will just they devour the plants.
Right.
If I mean, there's a few exceptions, but very few. And as a portion of the filtration, you won't see this if you come to the pond because I'll change it before you get here. But I learned keeping poison dart frogs the power of pothos. And I will drop sprigs of pothos in all around the pond to grow those heavy roots to adjust some of the water parameters that I want adjusted, namely the nitrates. Mm-hmm. And then they come out very easily. It's a rubber mat. They're not going to grow into the ground. And that stuff, it grows like a weed, literally. And when you put that in a koi pond, it takes off. Mm-hmm. But while the roots are in there and active, I think there's a little better water quality. And I think even though it's a large volume of water, the direct sunlight can cause a more rapid shift in this closed system. I've got a filtration system that involves 5,000 gallon an hour pump. So I'm turning the pond over once an hour. Mm-hmm. But it's through a skimmer and an overflow filtration system that's heavily dependent on biological filtration versus mechanical filtration.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so with the leak in the liner, and I'm adding the chlorinated water, when that ecological system gets upset a little bit, the result is cloudy water versus when I'm adding water once a week instead of 4 times a week, the water stays crystal clear. I may add some, they have some beneficial bacteria in pellets and powder form.
Okay.
And I also dose routinely. The Aquascape ponds have an automatic doser, and they're different. I guess it's ratios of the bacteria that are different. I use the maintenance, and it automatically doses several times a day. I can increase that. I can override the automated system and make it manual, but it's all bacteria based. Mm-hmm. So when I do the water test, TDS is not bad out of the tap here, but it's not perfect. And I've got a school of koi in there that makes them poop. And if you watch my videos, listen, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. If you find a koi pooping in a video, let me know. I spend hours editing out fish poop.
Why? It's natural.
It is, but I don't like the look of it, and I'm trying to reach. You guys are going to love it. You love fish, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to reach the GP, the general public.
Oh yeah.
It would break my heart if I saw a comment that poop is nasty. It would break my heart.
Why is that poop stringy?
Yeah,
Yeah. They don't know why.
Right.
yeah. So I
get it.
know that the next time you watch one of those videos, think, I wonder how many hours he spent editing out the poop, because we're talking about a school of koi, constant poop, right?
That's
where
like
the
a
work
lot of
is.
man hours for you, right?
I'm an artist. I do it for the viewers.
That's funny. See, now, I think Lonnie's Chewy. I think that's Chewy, right?
I
Is
thought
that
the
Chewy? Hey, Chewy?
Okay, so when
I don't know. People
I'm
change their names
thinking.
so often on here. I go crazy. I can't keep up.
No, I'm trying to figure it out, and this has been happening for
Not Chewy.
Not Chewy. Okay.
That was from
Lonnie, a.k.a. Looney
I don't
Tunes.
believe it. Because when Chewy comes up, his thing on the chat is Looney Tunes. So prove it. Chewy likes to play games.
I don't know.
All right. Looney Tunes says not Chewy.
Whatever. Anyway, no, the pond stuff, like I've personally never kept a pond, so I don't know the details about it. But like I said, it's a little bit more of, you have it's like a semi-closed system. So because you have a lot of outside influence, whether it's sunlight and outside organisms that can just drop in whenever they want, and outside water, like unplanned stuff going on and overflows. So,
well, with koi, if you got fish in it, and it's in direct sunlight, it's an algae magnet. So Aquascapes has figured out how to work with nature and not against it, using the beneficial bacteria to keep algae out. So the algae issue I typically have is with string algae, and it's seasonal, and it removes easy enough. If I'm going to do a photo shoot or something, I can take it out. Otherwise, I let it grow. Yeah, until it becomes if they're guests coming over, or it's just really making my my viewing pleasure, diminishing the viewing pleasure, then I'll take it out. Otherwise, it's part of the system, and we just deal with it.
You had mentioned that it was seasonal. Is it tied to certain changes in like rain activity or
not rain? I think it's temperature and photo period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I had out front of my house, I had one of those 20-gallon circle ponds, and I went and bought a koi or two kois. The one passed away, but I had one that survived, and I moved them inside when it was getting cold. So I had a plan. I was going to dig a pond, a nice one, in my backyard, doing the whole waterfall system and everything. And I was like, you know what? That's just dumb. And somebody said, why is that dumb? I said, I got 3 labs. That's why it's dumb. So I reached out to people that I knew, and they have a 4 by 8 pond, 4 to 5 foot deep. I said, the koi's coming to you. And I did it today. And I was like, oh, like it was happy. I did the whole, 20-minute thing, 15, 20-minute thing to, get acclimated to the temperature. And then it was funny because I put my hand, it was weird. Like this whole thing with this fish today was weird. Like it knew it was going to a happier place because I put the cup in the tank and it was like looking at it. And, when you push it down in, it does a whole suction thing. It went right in the cup. This damn fish knew where it was going.
Let me out.
So I picked the cup up, I put it in the bag, I did more water. I took it up there to the pond and I did the whole 15-minute thing. And I had to keep moving the fish bag back because it wanted to go. And then I picked it up. I wetted my hands, and I picked it up, and I put it in the pond. And it just went. I was like, I just released my little kid in the pond. I was like, and then the lady I took it to, she goes, I will take good care of it. I said, I know you will. It's just, you know how it is. They're like your kids.
Oh, you had to let your kid go.
Mm-hmm.
That bear is about 10 feet from my patio.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So we don't have anything out here, but my folks live out west on the west side of South Dakota, and they'll have mountain lions nearby their neighborhood, and black bears weren't really a thing in the Black Hills in recent history, but I guess in the past there used to be a population, and now they're starting to see them again. So I don't know if they're moving up from north from Colorado or moving east from like the Wyoming, Montana area, but.
Man, they're like birds. They can have an eruptive year. Well, this guy, it's April 13th, just awake and starving after hibernation. And that all of that bird food is pepper infused. And he does not like it. So he was literally starving to eat those few bites he did. The problem was every time he leaned on one of the feeders, he would bend this heavy metal pole.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't have this guy in my backyard destroying things. He's about a 6-footer, probably 300 pounds.
Okay.
You can see him. Yeah, he doesn't like that pepper. And he absconds with that particular feeder, bends the pole, tears that feeder off. Then we find the food scattered all over the yard. He didn't eat any.
He didn't even eat it. So he messed it all up.
No, it's too hot. It's just that cayenne, and he didn't like it.
They're stubborn.
That's funny.
It keeps the squirrels and the raccoons away too. They've learned they don't even visit anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had. Oh, where the hell was I? I was at my dad's house one time. I went for a ride. I had to go help somebody, and I saw 2 black bears on the way. They were hooking up with the trash cans.
Crazy.
Yeah. And they didn't care.
Here, scroll back up a little bit there. Down a little bit. I want to point out something here in the video section. That's okay. Roll with what you got. That's the new one, a short, the Eastern bluebird.
Okay.
A minute of beautiful bluebird footage, and you see the babies. That's the dad. They hatched and reared 2 young in my bluebird box feeder, which is just off screen of the live stream. It's on the fence. The box is mounted on the fence. There's a baby. There he goes. He's kind of clumsy.
Huh.
I'm gonna lie to you, I love watching birds though.
I'm just gonna turn this live stream into watching Rack's bird videos.
Well, it's all about creation. If you start protecting the birds, the fish get protection too.
They do.
So which one were you trying to point out?
Scroll down just a little bit. I don't know if you recognize the Carolina chickadee. It has 8,000 views. I think it's under that he was inverted. Yeah, right there under the snowstorm. Right side, second from beside evening grosbeak.
Okay.
How to identify birds. See that 8,000 views?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an anomaly on the page. Now at winter, those birds just hammer the feeder. A lot of pressure. But that 8,000 views come because YouTube has decided that this video needs to be promoted with other videos, 2 in particular, both over 1 million views. So every time those 1 million view videos are shown, this is a suggested video.
Really?
And that's why it has 8,000 views. It's no better content, I promise. But YouTube decided that's the one that's going to get promoted.
It falls in the algorithm.
Yes.
Well, that's like if you look at, shorts or kind of the outlier of the statistic world, because you can have some shorts that the content itself is questionable at best, but for whatever reason, a short will blow up.
So I did an experiment. It started from Sand Creek, Amy, with the what was it? Let Sleeping Dogs Lie. I think it was.
That one of her dog that blew up.
Yeah, and then she got so many subs from it. So me and Jess from Maine's Tails, Furs, and Fins. So we did the same thing, just see what it would do. Nothing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I think it'd be interesting to find a video that blows up like that, and as soon as it blows up, like right away, upload that same video to a different channel. Like,
yeah.
The exact same content, the exact same hashtags, the same SEO, like all your tags, everything.
Yeah.
And it's just that one video for whatever reason, and I don't know what. There's something in there that triggers it.
Mm-hmm.
But the shorts that I did, because I had, if I look at my content, I had some shorts, and the most popular one I had, like most of them would hit 500 to 600 views, and I had a couple that hit like just randomly would hit 3,500, 4,000, without any particular rhyme or reason. But it's just interesting to see how that's.
Yeah, I don't understand how the short shelf works, but when your short gets on the YouTube shelf, it gets heavily promoted.
Well,
and it's like a lottery, depending on the time of day, the day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
When your short gets put on the shelf, if it's a high traffic area, boom, you got that thousands of views going on. You have no control. You can't repeat it. It's like magic.
Right.
So you just
to me,
it's like an incentive to just keep pumping out the shorts.
Which, I mean, it from reaching, like if you're trying to reach a broad audience, if you have a short that blows up, you get a lot of views, but you're probably not getting a lot of subscribers out of it, and you're not getting, even if you have 50,000 views and the average view time's like 20 to 30 seconds, you're not getting any like noticeable watch time out of it.
Well, they said at the beginning of the shorts it didn't count towards your watch hours.
Yeah, the benefit of the short is when you start hammering those views, all of a sudden it alters the algorithm for your entire channel. So you get a weighted algorithm for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. So, as said, they miss everyone's dogs. We do that challenge again. Well, I missed the challenge, but whatever the challenge is, we can make it happen. Let's do it. You issue the challenge, and we'll rise to the occasion.
I don't remember that challenge.
So, but yeah. How many people are we down to? I'm sure we've lost. It's probably just like 4 or 5 of us sitting in here anymore.
It's 3.
Because I think even Blackie's called it quits tonight. He didn't have. I was tuned in over there. He didn't have very many viewers this evening. Usually he has about the same or better than us, but
I thought you had 16. That's like 3 times what I had on my last live stream.
Say 16's not bad. Usually when I was streaming every Tuesday, we'd see, about 25 to 30.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty, I think maybe we'd break like 30 for a minute or two, but it was never too many. It was like, I don't know, like I don't even personally, and like I like live streams because I get to chat with people, whether they come up on screen or they're just posting in the chat box. Like I get to talk to people, and you lose that whole environment when you get into like 200 plus people watching.
Yeah.
It's like some of these people, like
I like Bob. Fast.
Like I like Bob Steenfot, but over in his streams, like you can't get a question in because the chat just flies through, and if he answers your question, it's lottery. Like just because he happened to grab that question, and it's I don't want to sit here and, despite what Patty thinks,
No,
just
let's
talk
not do
at
that.
people. Like I don't want to talk at people. Like I don't want to sit up here and ramble. Like I've done that when I've given like I'll put like a slideshow or something together and give like a talk on CO2 and like I'll talk for 30, 45 minutes. But I don't want to talk at people. I like the live stream because I get to talk to people and have a conversation instead of just sit up here.
Yeah, the
babble.
community element it's what's at play in the live stream for me. HC Aqua gave up on shorts. That's no good.
I don't even know if Jesse even posts any videos anymore anyway. I haven't even looked at his channel.
He's
in a
already a
while,
legend.
right? He's a hero. 6.2 thousand subscribers.
Crazy. Guy's so popular.
Oh, he did post a video of him tearing stuff down. Last week. I didn't even see it, Jesse. Sorry, man.
Oh, he's not done.
Oh, I know he's not done. I actually got to go to Jesse's house and see everything before he tore it out. And he had a really neat setup. He had everything. It was like all his stuff was outside. I mean, granted, he's in Hawaii. But all his stuff was outside. He had tubs and tubs of guppies just set up all over him. Tanks under overhangs, but still outside. But he was breeding a lot of cool stuff. He had some really nice strains of guppies.
Well, I got to check out, guys.
Okay,
Thanks for letting me hang out. I do appreciate your love and support. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
We'll do it again. Tom, hit me up. You and I'll get together on a stream. Okay, buddy?
All right, bud.
We'll make
All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right. We'll see you, Rack. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Thank you, bud.
All right. On that note, Tom, I think I'm flying tomorrow, so I should probably hit the sack, get a little bit of sleep. I don't fly until later, though, so.
Yeah, I'm done, too.
Bottom Dweller said he's done. I'm done. Rack's out. Lonnie, Patty, S Fish Tropic. Thanks for stopping by, guys. IHSP Steph. Thanks, Jesse. We'll keep this rolling. Like I said, I'm going to try to at least do every other week, guys, and we'll see how it goes. If I can do every week. Patty wants another 2 hours. I don't think you can hang for another 2 hours. I think Tom's about to pass out over there. It's
like 2 hours. No, we're done, Patty. We're done.
Did we do 4 hours one night on here, Tom? I think we did 4 hours.
Dude, I think we did 6.
I did not do 6 on this one. I probably did 6 on yours. I didn't.
Yeah, no,
There's no 6 hours here.
We pulled about an all-nighter between you and me, bud.
Yeah, back
you
in the
did
day,
some
back
in
in the day, like it was a long time ago, but we usually do, 2 hours or so on mine, and then jump over to yours and just
we did
burn it up over there.
No, we did it there for a minute when you ever and go on.
Yeah. So let's get back to it. I know it's summer, but we'll try to use this.
Yeah, I'm just back to work and we got to figure out the days off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my days rotate. Like next week I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the following week's Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. So
that's what we got to do.
Let's make it happen.
We can do it.
I should probably be able to do next Tuesday. The following week, I'll be out of town. We're going on a camping trip, so I'll be out the following week. But next Tuesday, I should be free. This Sunday night, I should be free. If you want someone to jump on yours, I think I'll be around. So we'll see what's up. Steph said she has 3 tanks to fill up still. Steph, if you want to fire something up, I'm sure some of these other night owls would come hang with you.
Yeah.
I myself am out for the evening. So thanks, everybody. It was a pleasure to get to talk to everybody again. Thanks for taking the time to come hang out with us. And like I said, I think check out Tom Sunday at 6 Eastern. I'm going to see if I can jump up on that one this week. And then right now we'll plan for next Tuesday again. I don't know if it'll be 9. We may slide back to 9:30. I think tonight we had more people coming in a little bit later anyway. Like I said, it's just that time of the year.
Yeah.
So, all right. let's
Oh shit.
we'll call it. So you guys have a good night. Tom, we'll see you. Thanks again, and we'll catch you later.